So the holistic approach is that health is defined as a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being, not just the absence of disease or infirmity. So if we look at those three parameters, physical, mental and social, we're talking about the body, the mind and our environment. And there are many lifestyle illnesses that are increasing in their prevalence over the years now, and many of them arise from an imbalance in one or more of these areas. So my work is very much looking at where those imbalances are and what people can do about them to get real, tangible, sustainable results quickly. Social health refers to how and who we interact with in our environment and the influences that the environment can have upon us and as a result upon our health and well-being. So it's not just the people we hang around with, but books, TVs, internet, magazines, anything that really has the ability to condition how we act, how we believe, how we think and how we feel. And that can lead to, subsequently lead to health repercussions. So it's important to make sure that we're consciously aware of what we're coming into contact with and how it's showing up in our health. I think lifestyle is probably the single most, the key determining factor to chronic disease. If it's not a genetic disease, then it's going to be as a result of lifestyle, as a result of environment. So if we want to find a solution to that, we need to look at the lifestyle. We need to look at what's actually caused it. A lifestyle problem needs a lifestyle solution, and it's becoming increasingly clear that we can't medicate our way out of unhealthy lifestyle choices. I think what we need to do is get an understanding of this old belief that there's a cure for everything, there's a pill for everything, and there really isn't. Pills can only take us so far, and it's really important that we look at the other factors involved that are causing or contributing to the illness or disease. So medications have their place, and I want to be clear that no one should stop any medication they're taking without supervision from their doctor, but it's just as important, if not more important, to look at what other factors are involved in the illness. What else can we do at an individual level to help address the symptoms or the problems that an individual is experiencing? I think the biggest misconception is that many people feel there's a pill for everything. There's a medically derived cure for any symptom or condition that people have. And much of the time, people need to also look at the dietary factors, the lifestyle factors, the environmental factors that have actually contributed to, if not completely caused, the illness in the first place. What can we do at an individual level to help improve that before we start to look at medications? Okay, so vitamin C is probably the best known antioxidant, and we all need to get good healthy amounts of that in our diet every single day. Usually best found in citrus fruits, but if we can't get it for whatever reason, then we have little choice but to supplement. But it's essential we get good amounts to help support the healing process that the body needs to undertake every single day to help relieve the oxidative stress that occurs at a cellular level on a daily basis. If we look at Western illnesses, we often find in various tribes around different parts of the world that these illnesses don't exist simply because they have completely different lifestyles. They have different amounts of activity, they have different amounts of sunshine that they receive, and they eat completely different foods. They eat whole foods, seasonal foods, natural foods that they can find that are easily accessed. And I think it's important to see where the correlation is there, in terms of cause and effect, how a group of people are living their lives and how it's showing up in illness. Increasingly, as we look in the Western world, where we have unfortunately a greater reliance on processed foods, unhealthy foods, sugary foods, starchy foods, and we're not necessarily getting good quality nutrients in terms of good quality proteins, essential fatty acids, vitamins, minerals. Unfortunately, this is starting to show up in illness and disease, and we can very easily correlate this. There are studies to actually confirm the correlation, but interestingly, in certain tribes in different parts of the world, in Africa, in Australia, New Zealand, some of them don't actually have any of these chronic diseases. It just doesn't exist, and we've got to really start to understand and see the connection there. So I think sugar plays quite a significant role in the development of many chronic diseases and chronic illnesses, and this has been proven. It's been associated with type 2 diabetes, obviously, obesity and certain cancers. But looking at the greater role of sugar, I mean, sugar is a carbohydrate. We do need to have some carbohydrates within our diets. I know there's a lot of people who seem to push these sort of low-carb diets, but that doesn't mean no-carb diet, and it's important to understand that. But if we look at getting a healthy, balanced diet featuring all of the nutrients that we need, so proteins, fats, carbohydrates, vitamins, minerals, fibre, water and oxygen, then we're getting the correct, appropriate balance of nutrients that we actually need to function, to survive. When we're taking things in our diet that are out of balance, if we're getting too much sugar, not enough protein, or too many saturated fats and not enough water, we're certainly putting ourselves on the pathway towards illness and disease, and it's really important to understand that the diet, the actual nutrients that we're taking, needs to be a healthy balance, and that's really when we're going to start to feel full. We're going to start to feel like we've eaten a good quality meal and we don't have sugar cravings or pangs for sweets afterwards. Mental stress can take its toll physiologically simply by thinking about what that actually does to the body. When we're feeling stress and overwhelm, it can show up in various different ways. The body starts to create more adrenaline, it starts to create more cortisol, more inflammatory mediators, our immune system isn't quite as strong, and that can put us on the path towards illness and disease. Our blood pressure can go up, heart rate can go up, and all of that, if you add it all up, if it's happening at a chronic level, at a consistent level, as in many cases of chronic stress, it can show up as various different types of disease. Stress has been named as one of the key contributing factors to a number of conditions, including asthma, Alzheimer's, heart disease, diabetes, anxiety, depression. And it's important to understand that how powerful stress can be, but also that stress is not actually a physical thing. It's totally abstract. You can't physically hand me 10 kilos of stress. So it's not the stress that's the problem, it's our perception of the stress, how we're perceiving the stress and what we're deciding it means. And that's where it's really important to make sure we're doing what we can to have that healthy detachment on a regular basis to prevent that stress from affecting our health and well-being. Rest and recovery is essential for the body. I think it's not really given enough attention, particularly in people who are working more in the corporate world, where they're trying to run on 3 hours sleep a night, which is totally unsustainable. But we do need to take my recommendation is 7 to 9 hours every night to make sure that our bodies are getting the opportunity to recover, to heal, to regenerate from the daily activities that we've been through. So that's why I'm a big proponent of getting good amounts of healthy, refreshing sleep, where you manage to fall asleep and remain asleep and then wake up feeling ready and energized and refreshed and ready for the day. We obviously need to make sure we're getting a good balance of vitamins and minerals from our diet, and it's always best to get that from the diet. And if that's not possible, then the only other option is supplementation. Many different types of vitamins, minerals, and a deficiency in them can show up in various different illnesses that I could probably talk about all day long. So making sure we're getting that balance from whole foods, from natural foods that we have access to, can help to support our overall constitution. Fibre is essential. We all need to get good amounts of fibre in our diet. It's the one food that is not actually absorbed by the body, but it has some incredible effects on our overall health. We talked earlier on about a study that showed that getting 35 grams of fibre every day can reduce your chances of heart disease by 54% and reduce your chance of dying from all causes by 37%. And there's no pill in the world that can do that. But that study specifically showed that association as a result of different types of fruits and vegetables that the people were put on. And there may well have been some additional benefits from vitamins and minerals that were found in those. So, you know, a great way of looking at how we can live longer is just by looking at how much fibre we're getting in our diet. So unfortunately, I don't feel that many of us get good healthy amounts of fruits and vegetables in our diet, and we sort of underestimate how powerful these foods can be to support our overall health. I think we underestimate how important sleep is in terms of our overall health and wellness. Sleep is the, you know, we do need to take a good amount of sleep every single night. 7 to 9 hours is what I recommend. Unfortunately, many people sleep considerably less than that during the week and then try and make up for it on the weekends, and that's not really something that is sustainable. We need to allow our bodies to heal and recover and regenerate from the day-to-day activities. So I'm a big proponent of supporting people who feel they are short on sleep and making sure that, you know, they're getting the good balance in their activity and rest levels during the day. Modern life is very stressful, and I think it's important that every day we recognise how much stress is actually being brought into our lives, and just as important, every day we do something that will help to release a lot of that stress. So engaging in some sort of regular activity, practicing mindfulness, meditation, exercise, whatever it might be, just to help de-stress, relax and unwind from the day's events. The actual consequences of stress, if we don't actually release that stress, is that it can accumulate and it can show up in various different types of illness. And you know, we've talked about the many different types of stress-related illnesses already, but that really sort of underlines why it's important to make sure we're managing the levels of stress we have in our lives. The right nutrients from our diet naturally. It's always best to have it naturally in the way that nature has created it, because it's been shown that that is actually absorbed and used by the body in a much more effective way. If we can't get that for whatever reason, we have little choice but to use supplements, and it's important to make sure we're getting a good quality supplement that is supportive of our needs, that, you know, has a robust science behind it. So yes, I mean, our nutritional needs can change as we get older, depending on what deficiencies we might have, and obviously everyone's different. There isn't really a sort of one pattern fits all for everybody. Vitamin D we've already talked about, because that is certainly quite widespread in terms of people who have vitamin D insufficiency and deficiencies. So yes, that's the key one, to look at supplementation if we can't get it from our diet naturally. Antioxidants are absolutely essential. Vitamin C is the big one everyone talks about, but there are many different antioxidants that our body needs to receive to function, and the importance of what they do is really to help heal a lot of the damage that our bodies can go through as a result of our day-to-day activities and interactions. So yes, it's essential to get a good amount of antioxidants and anti-inflammatory foods within our diets to help support our constitution. Vitamin C is one of the best known antioxidants, and it's essential to get a good amount of that within our diets every day. If we can't get it from our diets, from good citrus fruits, then we have little choice but to supplement. And it's critical to help to repair the stress that is actually happening on a regular basis to all our cells during our day-to-day activities, and helping to relieve that oxidative stress that occurs at a cellular level. So I'm a big supporter of vitamin D and making sure we're getting good amounts in our diets every single day. Okay, so vitamin C is probably the best known antioxidant, and we all need to get good healthy amounts of that in our diet every single day. Usually best found in citrus fruits, but if we can't get it for whatever reason, then we have little choice but to supplement. But it's essential we get good amounts to help support the healing process that the body needs to undertake every single day to help relieve the oxidative stress that occurs at a cellular level on a daily basis. Personally, I take vitamin C effervescent tablets after a gym session pretty much every time, just to help relieve any particular oxidative stress that my body will experience as a result of a workout. Regular brisk walking is essential. Hippocrates once said, walking is man's best medicine, and there was a study presented to the European Society of Cardiology 3 years ago that showed that walking 25 minutes every day can add 7 years to your life. So, I mean, that's just one of the many benefits. Walking on its own has actually been proven to be associated with so many other healthy benefits, including supporting biomechanics, controlling or reducing stress, supporting the heart, supporting cognitive functioning. The list really goes on. It's a very simple activity that pretty much anyone can do if they're able-bodied and practice it every day. And like I said, it has a myriad of health benefits. Obesity and diabetes is becoming more prevalent, and I think a lot of the reason behind this really comes back to diet and insufficient activity. If we're looking at our diets, we're seeing that increasingly they're looking more carbohydrate rich and less fats and proteins and vitamins and minerals that we need to have. So it's a very imbalanced diet, and we need to bring that back in balance by looking at what we can eat. And as you know, I'm a big proponent of whole foods. So the other element of diabetes and heart disease and obesity, and why these conditions are increasing, is most likely related to activity, or our levels of activity compared to how active we were many years ago. And I think it's important that we do what we can to support our activity levels through simple exercises and activities. Walking is one that we've already talked about, but there are unbelievable health benefits to undertaking regular exercise and helping support the circulation and the functioning, the mechanical stimulation that our bodies receive as a result of regular exercise. I think it's important that we track our progress, simply because if we don't track what's happening, then we don't know what's working and what isn't. So, you know, if we're taking a certain supplement and a certain exercise plan and we're not seeing any results, then clearly something's not working. So we need to make sure that we're tracking our progress, we're measuring, we're managing, and we're adjusting accordingly to make sure that we're achieving the result that we want to get.